All right, thanks, Sue. Hi, everybody. My name is Emily Picard. I work for UCONN Extension, which is through the University of Connecticut. The program I work in is called 4-H. You might be familiar with it. It's a positive youth development program. Within Extension, our goal is to help kids 5 to 19 find their purpose, find their spark, and we connect them with different people that can help them get there. So if you're interested, let me know. But like I said, it's in Extension. So we have a lot of resources that are available within the Department of Extension in the College of Ag that you might find useful. Our 4-H environmental literacy program is growing in that department. So a little bit about me and why I'm here today to talk to you guys about preparing to present your Envirothon presentations. I am currently a 4-H educator for Fairfield County with the environmental literacy task. However, before that, I was a teacher for 12 and a half years and a boating education coordinator for DEEP. And in that deep role, one of my main jobs was to create a PowerPoint that would educate people on safe boating. And so this needed to be something that was accessible to everybody, that was easy for people to understand, and that was still engaging. So I'm hoping that some of the skills that I learned in that field will help in helping you prepare for your Envirothon presentation. One of the other things that I bring from my background is presenting and engaging kids. So a lot of times it's hard for us to keep people's attention. And while you guys are going to be engaging adults, it's still hard to keep their attention. We have a lot of similarities between youth that are interested in Envirothon and the people that are there judging you. So stay tuned, and I hope you can use some of these tips in your preparation. So what makes a presentation interesting, right? Think about when you're sitting in class or when you're scrolling through your social media feed, what catches your attention? Is it the content? Is it something that's like really bright, a beautiful picture, something that's easy to read, an engaging personality? I want you to think about some of those things and try tucking them into your presentation that you're going to be doing at the end of the year. Uh, it could be a teacher who has a strong riddle, right? Something that's just on the board and kind of catches you out of nowhere, but makes you think. It could be the Sarah McLachlan's Sad Puppy Dog song with sad puppy dog eyes, right? Something that's going to get those judges to automatically listen to you and know that you're there. You want to make your presentation is easy to follow. If you're losing people, your presentation's not easy to follow. They're gonna get bored and they're gonna stop listening. If people stop listening, that means you're losing points on your score sheet. So we really want to see an engaging presentation. So how can we bring these things into our Envirothon presentation? 3 things you need to keep in mind: research, organization, and practice. We're going to hone in on these 3 key points into creating a great presentation. The first is your sources. The current issue is posted online. If you follow this link, it's up there. The resources are not there yet. I think they're coming soon. They might have been emailed out, but they will be up there eventually. So check out the resources that were provided by the current issue committee. Those are the ones that we've deemed like these are important. You should probably look in here to get some clues. When you do that, you might find other resources that are mentioned in their references. Go on and find information there as well. You know what a reputable resource is. You've done this in school, the .govs, the .edus, something from a peer-reviewed journal, something from a reputable publisher. You want to make sure those resources are factual and current. When we're talking about forestry and wildlife management, a lot of the resources out there are older, but there's some breaking stuff that people are trying new things. We're learning new things about how forest management can impact soil health. And there are more and more current topics. So make sure that you're looking for stuff that's happened in this century. And then like I said about the Envirothon current issue resources, check the resources of your resources because it might lead you on to something that will help you, another resource that it would be good for your presentation. So I also had envirothon teams as a high school teacher, and my students would always try to break off and be those experts, right? We'd have a wildlife expert, an aquatics expert, and that's great. That's very much how envirothon is positioned to be, right? None of us are experts in everything, and in the real world, we all work together. If I have a question about habitat management, birds, I'm going to go to Jane Seymour, right? I know who I can seek out in this industry to get the information that I need, to get the connections that I need. So your group can do the same thing. Have somebody who's really interested in soils, dive right into the soils. Have somebody who's interested in some of the stakeholder positions, be that stakeholder. So just like we would do with our natural resource professionals, we want to act as those professionals as we're creating this presentation. That's going to help you spread your workload out, but it's also going to help you fact check with that person and come up with an opportunity to role play as those stakeholders. So if you've done your research and you've looked at the current issue, you know we've got some stakeholder letters in there. Put that persona on, be the person that's concerned about bringing jobs to the area, and have another role at the same time in the back of your head thinking, okay, I'm also the forestry professional. How can I get jobs and forestry to work together? This is going to help you narrow down your different parts of your management plan. It's also going to help you talk as a team and flesh out some of the challenges, some of the things that might be a problem, might be conflicting with somebody else's land use practice before you get to the judges, right? Because part of the beautiful part about having the judges that we do have is they're all professionals in the field, right? And they're all going to know those conflicting issues. So if you can be the content area expert and have those discussions and have those arguments, if you will, kindly, but before you get in front of the judges, it will help your case. So use that current issue and the rubric as a guide for your details. When my students were leaving and going off to college, my biggest message to them was read the syllabus. Read the syllabus, read the syllabus, read the syllabus. Read it every week. Review it every week. Make sure you are on track with the syllabus. The syllabus tells you exactly what that professor wants you to do to be able to pass the course. I'm going to tell you when things are due, what exactly you need included in there. Read the syllabus. So same thing goes for our rubrics and our scenario. Read the scenario. You guys are an environmental consultant. You're hired by the city of Hillvale, and you and your colleagues, your team, you've been tasked to write a 10-year management plan for the use of the 400 acres owned by the town. And then you have to present this case. So if you go back and read that current issue write-up, there's going to be details in there that you want to include in your presentation, or at least you want to have taken into account while you prepare your presentation. You're going to be looking at the different community priorities. Community priorities are a main part of what all of the natural resource professionals in this industry are going to be keeping in mind, right? We can't just say, hey, we love this, and therefore that's all we're going to do. We need to think about how what we're doing is going to impact the community we're working in. And then in the end, you're going to also need to describe how the property can be utilized to provide those services to the community and the environment. So you're looking at a cooperative plan here that's going to make everybody happy in the long run. So it's a dynamic scenario, but it's very much what people are actually dealing with in real life. So it'll be fun to see what you all come up with. All right, keeping our interest. We all have had that teacher that drones on and it's just not engaging, not interesting. We want to be somewhere else. So have that hook. Be the team that makes the judges smile or laugh or think. Start with an engaging opening. This could be a story you've pulled from the stakeholder letters. It could be a graphic, a visual, something that really pops. Go into your 10-year plan, make sure you outline it nice and clearly. As you could see on my slides, I have bullet points. Some pages are wordier than others, but I try not to put too much text on there because I want you to be able to see it. And then end with a memorable closing. A simple review of your plan and, that catch of why they should accept your plan. How did it accomplish the goals of the current issue? And then keep it simple. Okay. So when we're talking about our organization, we want to keep things simple. We've got few words on these presentations. We've got simple graphics like on this slide here. We want to make it so that what we are saying is not what is being read on the slide. So we're covering our key points with our words, but we are diving into the details of those key points verbally. We're expressing those points to the judge and elaborating amongst each other on the team, right? You should be keeping your slides easy to read. Contrast is a really important part when we're presenting. Depending on where we're going to be competing, we don't know the lighting conditions. So make sure you have high contrast colors. Black and white is like the biggest contrasting color you can have. If you have a dark screen and white words, make sure they're nice and bold, but take into consideration that light levels will impact what you're showing on your screen. Keep your fonts simple and nice and easy to read. Arial is great, but it's kind of boring, I think. So I try to mix it up a little bit, but I'm keeping that theme throughout my presentation. I don't have 12 different fonts throughout my presentation. This is important when it comes to pulling everybody's work together. You want to make sure that you have that fluid theme throughout your presentation, even though you might have done different slides. Each person might have been responsible for different slides. And think about what your audience likes. If I'm presenting to teens, I might throw a couple memes in there, but if I'm presenting to a professional audience, I'm going to keep it a little bit more classy, maybe save my meme for my contact slide. And think about what their needs are. So if you're dealing with an audience that's in a big room, you might need bigger font. You might need to have that a little bit more slides so that you can reduce the amount of font you have on the text. Somebody asked about the number of slides that we expect you to have. I like not having a slide requirement because it lets you pace your content as you see fit. You don't have to cram all of your content on one slide. If I say you only can use 10 slides. So I might have a lot of slides, but it's going to still fit in that same amount of time. It's just going to spread that content out a little bit more. Use your visual aids. We've got so many tools available to us. I personally really love Canva because it's easy for me to plug in some graphics. It will make graphics for me if I ask the AI to do it for me. You can use maps to highlight the areas that you want to focus on. There is a map included on the website that you can go in, throw it in an app where you can draw on it, add your own features to it. You can use graphic organizers to detail your 10-year plan. But overall, keep them simple, make sure they're nice, clear, and crisp. You can reference them too if you're using somebody else's photo. You can absolutely put those annotations in as well. When you're showing your pictures, I don't like to hide them in the corner. I like to take everything off of the slide and focus on the picture. That way they are listening to your words and they are applying them to the visual that you're showing them. I also like to have a little bit of, I don't like white space on the edge of my slides. I think it makes it too crisp and detracts. It's just old, right? So I have adjusted the transparency on this slide with the same image. I just blew it up and adjusted the transparency, and it kind of provides a little bit of a softer buffer than that stark white contrast would have if I didn't have anything next to the photos. AI. Please use AI in your life. It will make it better. But we need to use it responsibly as a tool and not as a crutch. We don't want AI to do the work for us. We want it to help us do our work. It's like an 80-20. It kind of gets you 80% of the way there, but you need to touch it up 20%. I am not saying to throw your content into AI and say, make me a presentation. But I am saying that there's a lot of tools that we can use to make our presentations better. I literally asked ChatGPT what it could do to help you guys make your presentations better, and these are the things that it spit out, right? The thing that I didn't know is that it will help you practice your speech so you can deliver your speech, and it will give you feedback on that delivery, which is really, really cool because we don't always necessarily want to present in front of a live audience right away. My favorite thing for AI to do is to simplify my presentation. So I might put in the text that I have in a slide and say, can you reduce this? Can you make this easier to read? Can you summarize this? And it will help me with that. It will also outline my presentation so that if I wanted to take notes with me, which I highly recommend if you're not comfortable with your content, have some reference points, or maybe you're nervous and you need that reference point. Have AI help you come up with a summary of your presentation on note cards. Practice. Practicing is really key to being effective in your presentation skills. You might have done all of the research necessary. You might be that content area expert and have a fantastic plan. But if you haven't practiced and are uncomfortable in front of those judges and you lock up, that's not, all of your hard work is going down the drain at that point. We have terrible videos somewhere of students from my team. I love them dearly. They were fantastic. They knew what they were talking about. And, you know, the first time that they ever spoke in front of somebody else besides their class was at this presentation. And they will absolutely not watch their presentation ever again because they're traumatized by it. So make sure that you are practicing, whether it be in front of chat, GTP, or in front of your dog first, and then build up. Present in front of different stakeholder groups, your English teachers, somebody who actually like cares what you're talking about. Ask them if you can present and see what they say. Ask them for their feedback. As you're presenting, as you are sharing this information, your understanding of this content increases, right? We better understand things that we can teach somebody else. So that's what we want to see as judges. We want to know that you understand the content you're talking about. It's going to help you answer questions as well, because you're going to have such a great understanding of what this content is. If you are not a fan of talking or speaking with people, maybe you don't like to make eye contact with people, that's fine. You can look over their heads to the back of the room. As long as you are looking around, everybody thinks that you're making contact with somebody else, just like I'm doing right now with nobody standing in front of me. It's okay to not look directly people in the eye. And then smile. Don't look terrified. We want you to enjoy this, right? We're all here to support you guys. We want this to be an educational experience. So all the judges are super friendly and we want you to be having a good time. So as you're presenting, your body language is going to relax as well. So keep practicing, practice, practice, practice. And rehearse. Always, 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 what would happen, we would have, you know, a great team of 5 prepared, ready to go, and then somebody would get sick or didn't have a good grade in a class, couldn't attend the field trip. Something happened where we had to replace somebody last minute, and they didn't know what they were talking about. I get it, it happens, but do the best you can to make sure everybody has an equal part. Even that person that's coming on late, the rest of the contest, you guys have to work as a team. In the presentation, we want everybody to have an equal part in presenting. Okay, so if you've got a late ad, encourage that person to spend the time learning about the presentation, learning about the plan, and what you are going to need to be able to express to the judges. If you are practicing, the more you practice, your timing is going to become consistent. You might have somebody that can get through their content rather quickly, and that's great. But you might need somebody else's to take a little bit longer, and that's okay too. Practice in front of different audiences will help you improve your voice control and your facial expressions. If you're practicing for your friends, in the hallway after school, your facial expressions are going to be completely different than if you were talking with somebody in front of an auditorium. And just like your voice control is going to be different during those times. So really try to work in those times to practice. And we'll get back to another thing, but when you practice, you're also going to want to be practicing your question and answering skills. So judges will ask you questions. Everybody should take a turn in answering these questions. You should not rely on one person or another to carry the team. Um, it looks bad for the team, right? We want to see that everybody has a vested interest. This is where your stakeholders or your natural resource professional, what your content area is, your expertise, this is when that can come in. So if somebody asks you about climate in regards to your plan, the climate specialist can focus in on that question, right? It's not like who's gonna answer that? Is that me or is that you? You already know that George is gonna answer that question because George is the climate expert. If you don't know answers, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm not sure about that. Let me get back to you. The worst thing you can do in answering questions is to make something up. That is my biggest pet peeve as a judge. We have 4-H public speaking contests every year, and I love watching people public speak. It is a really awesome experience. The best presentations I have seen, I get so disappointed at the end when the person gives false information or makes up something because they're not sure of the answer. Don't do it. Just say, you know what, I'm not sure about that. Let me follow up with you. After the contest is over, pro tip, you can email Envirothon and say like, hey, I found the answer to that question. It won't make a difference for your points or not, but it might make a difference for, somebody, your job down the line when they say, oh, that kid went to Lyman Hall. Yeah, I remember they followed up with us with the right answer. That's awesome. So if you say something, do it. Now, practicing. If you're nervous, just start talking, right? A lot of us are a little bit, we like trees and plants better than we like people, and that's okay. But this is part of the deal in the natural resource world. We are going to be talking with people. Folks are interested about it. It's just part of the gig. So start practicing now. This is a random topic generator. It's super fun. It will spew out different topics, 5 topics at a time. Pick one, talk about it for 15 seconds to start, and then rotate around your team. Do the topics again the next day. Let's go up to 30 seconds today. Let's see if we could talk about Pokemon for, 20 seconds. It doesn't matter what the topic is. The more time you're spending talking in front of people, the more comfortable you're going to get, the more at ease your body's going to feel. And by the time May comes around, you're going to be naturals and be able to pull off this presentation with no problem. One thing you can do beyond the random topic generator is, as your content area experts are researching the different information behind each of those stakeholder positions or behind some of the management initiatives you want to take, you can even start your meetings by presenting those things, and that will help you, literally stand up in front of the room and share your information. That will help not only educate your team, but it will help you prepare for the contest and prepare for those public speaking opportunities. And record it if you have a chance. If you have a chance, everybody has a cell phone and it's in your pocket. I know it is. Record yourselves, have your teammates record you, and watch it. It's torturous. It's awful. I hate to watch myself present, but it's worth it because we learn what we do poorly. I know what my tics are, right? What things that I say when I'm nervous or when I'm trying to fill space, or what my physical presence looks like. It drives me crazy, and I try to do it less in the future. If I'm watching those videos, I'm going to be more aware of that. So definitely record yourself for this skill building process of learning how to effectively deliver a presentation. And some pro tips from 4-H. So we have a lot of presentations throughout the year, And what I love is when the kids are making eye contact with us as the judges, right? Or as the audience. They're not looking at their presentation the entire time, talking to the presentation. One, for the hard of hearing, it is really difficult to hear you when you're not sending your voice to that person directly. It's also, a lot of people are reading your lips as you go. So if you're facing away from your presentation, they might be missing half of the content you're trying to express. That's points lost on the rubric if they didn't hear it. It is also, it's polite, right? They want to feel like you care about the content enough to convey your sincerity and your interest in them, and that you're trying to sell this to them, right? You are you're a consultation group. You are the word is evading me right now, but you are the people that they have hired to say, hey, we want this, a plan to come up with. So it's your job to sell that plan to this town. Cite your sources at the end. There are some times when the judges will ask questions and a kid will say something. I'm like, oh, that doesn't really feel right. And their sources at the end always tell me where they got that misinformation from. And that provides an opportunity to have that conversation and say like, hey, this is a great resource, but that one over there, maybe you should stick with this type of resource. That one's kind of, it's not data driven. It allows for that open conversation. When your judges are asking you questions, think thoughtfully and confidently. And if you have completely spaced out on a question because you're like, whoa, I just got done with that presentation, thank goodness. It's okay to ask the judge, can you repeat that for me? Sometimes it helps for you to rephrase that question and to repeat it back. And so I think what you're asking is so that they know that you're understanding the question and that you are going to then answer that question correctly. And check your presentation for errors. I was going through this presentation last minute and I noticed I spelled answer wrong. So always double check your presentation. Have a friend look it over too. It would have been really embarrassing if I had an error in here. And if I do, you better tell me I do, because I'll go back and fix it. But check your presentation for errors. This is our non-discrimination policy. I hope you have gotten a lot of information on how to improve your presentations. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing them. I'm not a judge, so I get to go and hopefully watch and see how you guys do. But there is my contact information if you want any information about this or 4-H. We do have public speaking coming up in all the counties all around the state. So if anybody's interested in trying out their skills, feel free to reach out to an educator. We'd be happy to have you. And that graphic's not showing up right now, so that's kind of sad. But anyway, my email's up there. All right, that's all I have, Sue. If you want to pause the recording, we can open it up to questions.